Being my first full year out of college, and I think everyone can kind of attest to this after they graduate from playing a Division I sport or even a sport in general in college, it's just that it's tough that you go from a team of 30-so girls or guys and all of a sudden you graduate and you're on your own every day, especially being a professional athlete now, which is by far one of the coolest things I've ever been able to say about myself. But it's your job, it's your job to stay in shape, it's your job to push yourself. The biggest difference is that you don't have those 30 other girls working towards the same goal next to you. I think that's been the biggest difference, is just kind of turning it where you're not looking for that external motivation with the people around you, you're more looking inside. And it's definitely been tough at times because there's only so much positive self-talk you can give yourself before you break down a little bit. But I think those breakdowns are kind of where you kind of can see the light and kind of get through those things. I've learned a lot about myself over the last year and just kind of how I can motivate myself and how I can look inside for that motivation to push myself a little bit harder and to set different goals that, kind of realizing that I'm never gonna be able to go back to Stony Brook and do that all over again, but I do have new things coming for me in the future, and I have to kind of stop looking back and look forward to those and kind of set new goals that way. We're gonna work out. We're gonna show you how I work out every day with that guy. I've been coming to sports and fitness performance since I was in 10th grade. I started off with Frank Dolan, who's the owner here. It's like a small gym right at the top of my block. And I have been working with TJ DiMartino, my trainer, for the last 8 years. He's pretty much been my rock in this entire athletic process, my entire athletic career. And pretty much we, as athletes, we go to him for everything. He does our nutrition. He sets up our physical plans pretty much in the gym here and when we're traveling, which I do a lot, which is super helpful. Yeah, and I think for the last 8 years, I've just seen like a tremendous difference in my play on the field just because of how much work I've put in here and just how much trust that I have in my trainer and in the system that they have here, and just kind of those individual goal sets and meeting and saying, okay, for my goals for the next 2 weeks are to, a couple of years ago it was for me to drop a bunch of body fat, and in between my sophomore and junior season, that's what I did in the summer. That summer was just basically for me to lean out and be in the best possible shape of my life, not focus on lacrosse at all, and just kind of cross off that box that was taking me from becoming the next level of a lacrosse player that I wanted to be. So yeah, that summer between my sophomore and junior season was a big change for my lacrosse career. I think just dropping like 10 pounds of body fat was a huge thing that I didn't realize that I needed to do. But once I did it, I realized how much easier the game of lacrosse came and how much easier everything out on the field came. When I'm not kind of like thinking about, I'm tired during this play, or I have to go get the ball again, or I gotta go ride. When you have those kind of negative thoughts about how you feel about your body out on the field, there's no possible way that you're gonna be able to perform at your best. And that's what I kind of recognized by putting myself through that really tough summer and then coming out on the other side of it and being able to realize what it's like to be in top physical shape and not have to worry about that aspect, and then I can just kind of relax and let the game come to me. halfway through my college career is when I kind of realized. It was first when I made the switch of kind of like realizing, all right, I'm doing the average amount that I could be doing right now. I could be doing more. And I think that one switch of my mindset and that one summer change where when I went into my junior year, it was just like a completely different me. Physically, mentally, whatever it was, I just kind of went into it like zero given, and I wanted to just be the best version of myself. And I think as the year went on and there was more, talk and noise and everything like that, I think something that was big for not only our team, which was huge for us because we were having like an undefeated year, different things were happening for Stony Brook that had never happened in program history, and my name was in a bunch of it. And I think one of the biggest lessons that we learned from our coaching staff was to just block the noise. Yes, I did feel pressure at some points, but some of the best advice I've ever gotten is to just let the game come to me. So whenever I was on the field, just finding myself in a situation where that pressure would start to get to me and I was trying to do too much and I was trying to do everything in my power to make sure that our team won, and it was ultimately ending up being just a mess. I would have to allow myself to take a step back and just kind of say, let the game come to you. This is what you worked so hard all year for, first of all. And second of all, like, this is your passion. Like, you're supposed to be having fun with the game. You're supposed to be out on the field, like, game time, practice time, when you have the stick in your hand. Like, this is what I would remind myself is when you're and when you get to be what you were created to do. Still to this day, it's just kind of pushing myself to be better than I was yesterday. No matter if I had a 10-point game, did this, did that yesterday, it doesn't matter. It was yesterday, type of thing. And just kind of having that mentality of, okay, what's next? In 2017, right before the World Cup team was chosen, I think a lot of people saw that as something that I should have been a little bit more upset over, but I saw it as the biggest blessing. And I say that because it was even a surprise for me to just be on the team after the tryout in August, when it was 100 of the best girls in the same place, running sprints, playing games, 3-a-days, different things like that. Something that I never thought that I would actually mentally be able to get through. And I got through the weekend, and not only got through it, I made the team. Just going off, first of all, I've had so many near win experiences, so many 1-goal game losses that ended seasons, ended careers, ended, a bunch of different things. And I think what that's done for me is, instead of the 1 more rep mindset, I have a 2 more rep mindset, where it's if you get 1 more rep, if you score 1 more goal in those 1-goal games, you tie the game. So what does that do for you? But if you have 2 more, you win it. So I think just kind of taking, and what that does for me is just kind of taking something that's super painful and super hard to get through and just kind of flipping it in the opposite way. And turning a negative into a positive, and just kind of being able to say, all right, I'm going to do 2 more 300s just because maybe this day in March, down in June, or July, when I'm playing the WPLL championship and we need 2 more goals to win the game, I gotta know that I can mentally do it. You know, the daily grind of it all and the daily work that we put into it, and it's all for you guys. You know, it's all for that next generation to be able to see, like, this is what it takes to get there. This is what it takes to put lacrosse into the national, international eye. And this is how hard I need to work in order to be able to say that I can be out there. And I think, you know, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing with my life, especially right now, and I'm gonna try and do it as long as I can.